Senator, welcome to Israel. I want to thank you for your courageous statements.
That was Senator John Fetterman, who ran as a progressive and then immediately decided to suck up to the far-right prime minister of a foreign country, Israel. And he decided to visit Israel recently. It was his first time visiting the country. And if you think Fetterman looks pathetic, don't worry. We have another Democratic lawmaker who's competing with him for the seat of who's the most pathetic in the Democratic Party in sucking up to Benjamin Netanyahu. But before we get to that, and you want to stick around for it, let's watch some more of Fetterman's meeting with Netanyahu.
We've been through dire times in these months of anguish war. And during that time, I can say that Israel has had no better friend than Senator John Fetterman. Senator, welcome to Israel. I want to thank you for your courageous statements that show moral clarity and moral courage. And you just say it the way it is. And we appreciate this friendship at all times, but especially at these times. So welcome, friend. Welcome.
Well, we stand with Israel through this, and I'm so sorry for what's been done to this nation, but I'm just an honor to be here today.
Thank you.
All right.
And I look forward to visiting you in Washington. Thank you.
That handshake at the end was a little strange, no?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's impossible to know because he had a stroke, so it might have been awkward because of that. But I mean, if he didn't have the stroke, I would say, compromat? I mean, that was like deep humiliation, right? And you could kind of sense it from Fetterman at the end when he's like, oh, I gotta shake this guy's hand. Goddamn Epstein. I don't know, I'm kidding about Epstein, but like, what was that? I mean, you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of Trump in front of Putin when he was like, I believe him instead of my own guys, please, right? And so I don't know if, that relationship is complicated, but I hear the Russians interfering with our elections is terrible and should be deeply investigated. But Israel's not interfering with our elections at all, right? That's why these senators are going, both Republicans and Democrats, and go, yes, sir, of course, sir. We're very proud to serve you, sir. And what happened to Israel is terrible. But what Israel did, killing 30 times as many civilians, not terrible, perfectly fine. That's why we just sent you $20 billion.
So embarrassing. Now, if you can recall, back in December of last year, in 2023, Fetterman stated that he believes that there should be absolutely no conditions to aid that the United States sends to Israel. And that's aid, of course, paid for by us, the United States taxpayers. Take a look.
Many Democrats are calling for the United States to place conditions on further military aid to Israel. You, however, disagree with that. Why?
Well, I think it's really primarily because I believe that Israel has the right, but I also think it has the imperative to destroy Hamas. Because I think everybody here would agree that we should, one, have peace, and we should have an effective two-state solution. And I don't think that can really occur as long as Hamas is allowed to operate in there. And so to give the kind of flexibility, that's why I don't believe that there should be any conditions.
Thanks for watching. Our audience has helped build TYT into the media giant it is today. Together, we can accomplish anything. Support our work and join us at tyt.com/team. There should be no conditions to aid to Israel, the aid that is funded by American taxpayers.
Now, remember, when you say no conditions, that means American taxpayers, shut up. You're not allowed to complain about anything Israel does.
Shut up and pay up.
Give your goddamn money already. Hurry up, let's go, okay? I gotta go make a hostage video with Netanyahu. So let's go. In Lindsey Graham's version of the video, he's the Republican senator, it said more for Israel in English and then in Hebrew. Like, I mean, he's holding up signs like a hostage and saying, literally, send more American tax dollar money for Israel. Never mentioning they've killed 30 times the number of civilians as Hamas has. Hamas is terrible. We all agree Hamas is terrible. What does that make the IDF? Oh, I'm sorry, my bad. I'm hearing that they accidentally killed that many civilians. One giant accident.
Now, Fetterman's pretty bad, right? Especially since he ran as a progressive and then immediately switched gears and became one of the worst, lovers of a far-right government in a foreign country. But let's get to Jared Moskowitz, who's also a Democratic lawmaker in the House in this case. And he proposed a bill that would essentially amend the law to ensure that State Department funding would not go to any entity that is citing the death toll number from the Gaza Health Ministry. The argument is, well, the Gaza Health Ministry is in Gaza. Gaza is run by Hamas, and so we just can't trust the numbers. The State Department historically has trusted the numbers. The Israeli government historically has cited those same numbers. But here's the thing, the death toll is really high this time.
Super awkward.
Super high. It makes Israel look really bad. So why don't we try to hide that and try to throw cold water on the death toll number and make people think that it's not something that we can trust. So the provision specifically states that funding will not be made available for the State Department to cite statistics obtained from the Gaza Health Ministry. Okay, that is what the legislation was. And guess what? The House passed the amendment easily. Let's take a look at Ida Chavez's post on X. She wrote after the vote, the House just voted 269 to 144 on an amendment trying to erase the Gaza death toll, and that's really what this is. And then she states that Representative Rashida Tlaib, who is a Palestinian American, called it genocide denial. Over 60 Democrats joined Republicans in supporting it. Now, since she referenced Rashida Tlaib, I want to go to a video featuring her statements. Let's take a look.
There is so much anti-Palestinian racism in this chamber that my colleagues don't even want to acknowledge that Palestinians exist at all. Not when they're alive, and now not even when they're dead. It's absolutely disgusting. This is genocide denial. Mr. Cenk, I know the majority of this chamber doesn't believe Palestinians should live or exist, but I won't remain silent as the only Palestinian American serving in Congress. While folks attempt to ever even erase those who were killed with our own weapons. So if I may, later at the appropriate time, I will submit for the inclusion into the congressional record the list of the Palestinians killed in Gaza. And Mr. Speaker, it is important to note this to everyone here. The list is too long that I can't even submit it because of the text limit.
And I just want to know, man, I can't imagine what it must be like to be Rashida Tlaib in this disgusting government right now. But nonetheless, I just want to note, independent bodies like the World Health Organization have said the numbers are reliable. Independent bodies like the World Health Organization have said this, okay? World Health Organization is not run by Hamas. Israel, which has not provided its own estimate of the death toll in Gaza, I think for obvious reasons, reportedly relies on the numbers provided by the health ministry.
Yep.
Okay.
So every human rights organization, every press organization in the world acknowledges those numbers. They've been stunningly accurate through not just this conflict, but many conflicts that Israel and Hamas has had. So this is basically saying numbers have a well-known anti-Semitic bias. And so numbers and facts are all anti-Semites, and that's why they should be banned.
I don't blame Israel. I mean, I would be deeply embarrassed and ashamed, and I would be concerned about how I appear as a country, as a government on the international stage, as tens of thousands of innocent people are being slaughtered by the country's military.
Yeah.
Right? So they want to hide it. But guess what? We don't receive funding from the State Department. So we're going to go ahead and continue citing the numbers coming from the Gaza Health Ministry.
That brings me to
just like the US State Department does and just like the Israeli government does.
Yeah, that brings me to my second point, which is, so now we're cutting funding to our State Department.
Which is actually kind of a good thing.
No, well, I hear you, but because all they ever do is support Israel. But here, they made the great grave crime of putting down accurate numbers. Right? So Orwell is super bad. Okay, of course Orwell explained what would happen, and so it's Big Brother that's apparently very mad. And I'll tell you who Big Brother is in a second. But so they say, we're gonna cut the funding to the United States State Department, but we're not gonna cut funding to Israel for the actual number of people killed. For the actual genocide, in fact, we're gonna send them 20 billion. Maybe they'll take money from the American government functions and just send it straight to Israel, because I mean we've sent them 300 billion so far, $20 billion during the course of this conflict. So it makes sense. We're running out of money for us. So, okay, in State Department, grave crime, facts are anti-Semitic, everybody knows that. Let's cut their funding. And maybe they could do it so that, hey, you know what? If the State Department or any function of the United States government ever tells the truth about Israel, we strip them of all their funding and send it immediately to Israel. Okay, so that is actually literally what's happening. So you want to get offended by that, you can go cry, I don't care. So who's big brother in this case? Well, if you think, oh, Donald Trump is anti-war and the Republicans know better and Democrats are the establishment. Well, there's some truth to that. Over 60 Democrats voted here in favor of this, led by Jared Moskowitz, who is now literally a genocide denier, saying, shush. I mean, that statement by Rashida Tlaib was so powerful when she said, now they won't even acknowledge us when we die. And so, and every government that denies a genocide does this. The Turkish government does it with the Armenian genocide. They didn't die. Yep. The Japanese government did it with the rape of Nanking. They didn't die. I don't know what you're talking about. The numbers are lies. Everything is lies. We deny everything, right? So that's what now the US government is forced to do because
Not forced. This is what they want to do.
Well, forced to do through AIPAC, et cetera. I don't know if they genuinely hate numbers and believe this nonsense. God, what were we kidding? It's all AIPAC, right? Because they're scared to death after AIPAC spends $100 million per election cycle, 14.5 million in one House race alone, et cetera. So, but the overwhelming number of people who voted to pass this were Republicans. Almost all of the Republicans, over 200 of them, voted yes. So by the way, Moskowitz and the other Democrats, what happened to party unity? I thought whenever you wanted to beat up a progressive, oh, they're not loyal to the Democratic Party, okay? They wouldn't bow their head to corporate rule. My beloved donors in big pharma and the oil companies, the progressives wouldn't bow their heads to them. Lack of unity. Now, most of the Democrats voted no, which give them credit for this. But Moskowitz and the corporate Democrats, the lobbyist Democrats, they'll take any money and serve anybody that pays them. They're like, no, I hate the Democratic Party. I love my Republican friends. You're right, numbers are liars. Let's deny elections, let's deny numbers, let's deny reality, yay! So that's that conservative corporate wing of the Democratic Party. And almost the entirety of the Republican Party. They can't wait to kiss Netanyahu's ass and cash those AIPAC checks.
So when the dust settles and they clear the rubble and they discover the tens of thousands of people and corpses that were trapped under the rubble, and that death toll inevitably rises significantly, what kind of games is the Israeli government, with the help of the United States government, which is basically the same at this point, gonna play in order to hide those numbers from the American people? Do they think that they're gonna be able to do that? I mean, come on.
They'll do anything. Remember, the House earlier passed the bill saying that since anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism, total nonsense, and Zionism means really the creation of Israel. Basically, if you criticize Israel, it'll now be illegal in America. You can criticize America all you want. You can criticize any other country in the world all you want. But if you criticize Israel, it's illegal. And if you cite numbers that are true, now also a problem with the law, and you'll get your funding cut because you've dared to defy leadership from Israel. Go cry about it, that's an actual fact.
Hey, thanks for watching that video. We really appreciate it, guys. And we appreciate it if you become members, because that allows us to be independent, honest, progressive, all the things that you don't get from corporate media. And all of that is because of you guys. Hit the join button below and become one of us, become a Young Turk.